Quelques heures avant la rencontre aujourd'hui, une lettre de M. Ado-Yirmiri qui nous dit son désistement. Et il nous a demandé dans son courriel de lire la lettre. Sauf que il y a des correctifs à faire pour qu'est-ce qu'il dit. Je te laisse là-dessus, Michel.
D'accord. Je vais lire la lettre en anglais ou...
Je pensais que tu allais faire les correctifs.
Je vais les faire après mon...
OK. Donc, on aura des correctifs à faire sur ce qui est dit.
D'accord. Je vais vous lire en anglais.
Je vais vous aller en français après.
Okay. Les correctifs, c'est qu'en fait, il invoque certaines choses qui sont fausses, donc on fera les correctifs à la fin. Mais je vous lis. Il nous demande, please read the following to your members at the meeting of October 24th. Bonjour, M. Arsenault and members of the Société pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine de Pointe-Claire. It would seem from your correspondence and various changes of venues that there is some confusion about the legality of where the meeting with candidates could occur. In addition, the follow-up declaration of such a meeting, and by whom, is also in some doubt. Consequently, as I have said from the beginning, I would be very pleased to attend a regular meeting of your association. However, going to the upstairs of a restaurant to meet with whoever may choose to go there after a regular meeting at a different location seems rather unusual and inappropriate. As someone who supports the need to protect our heritage and as a member of council, I have always voted in favor of the annual grants to support your association. As you know, the point and the windmill are protected by law, and no changes or development can occur there. The convent is owned and controlled by the Archdiocese. The convent is zoned religious, institutional, and therefore no other facilities, parenthesis, example condos, restaurants, etc., would be allowed to be developed there. The city cannot spend public, parenthesis, taxpayer money in or on privately owned facility. Finally, the Archdiocese has stated that the convent is not for sale. If any of your members would like to contact me, I would be pleased to answer any questions that they might have. Sincerely, Aldo Yarmieri, candidate for mayor.
He's a current councillor right now.
Yeah, he is.
OK. Je vais vous faire, à sa demande, la présentation en français. Donc, bonjour M. Arsenault et membre de la Société pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine de Pointe-Claire. Il semblerait, selon votre correspondance et plusieurs changements de site, qu'il y a une certaine confusion au sujet de la légalité concernant le lieu où une rencontre avec les candidats pourrait être présentée. De plus, le suivi de la déclaration d'une telle rencontre par qui est aussi mis en doute. Conséquemment, comme je l'ai dit depuis le début, il me ferait grand plaisir d'assister à une rencontre régulière de votre association. Par contre, d'aller à l'étage supérieur d'un restaurant pour rencontrer quiconque pourrait choisir d'y aller après une réunion à un endroit autre semble assez inhabituel et inapproprié. En tant que personne qui soutient la nécessité de protéger notre héritage et comme membre du conseil municipal, j'ai toujours voté en faveur des subventions annuelles en soutien à votre association. Comme vous le savez, la Pointe et le Moulin sont protégés en loi et aucun changement du développement peut s'y produire. Le couvent appartient et est contrôlé par l'archevêché. Le couvent est zoné religieux, institutionnel. Et donc aucune autre installation, condo, restaurant, etc. ne pourrait y être développée. La ville ne peut pas dépenser la monnaie publique, taxe, dans une installation privée. En dernier lieu, l'archevêché a déclaré que le couvent n'est pas à vendre. Si quiconque de votre association veut communiquer avec moi, il me fera plaisir de répondre à toute question qu'il ou elle pourrait avoir. Sincèrement votre, Ado Yirmiri, candidat à la mairie. Donc, on a répondu à ça.
On s'excuse, M. Belvedere, mais pour être sûr qu'on enfreint au fait.
Ce sont 10 minutes autorisées à M. Ado Yirmiri. Donc,
les ajustements que, dans une réponse qu'on a adressée à M. Yirmiri, il y a 3 choses qu'on lui a dites. La première, c'est que de dire qu'il y avait de la confusion sur la légalité de la réunion. Cette confusion-là, il n'y en a pas. On lui a fait suivre une directive qu'on a reçue, c'était une lettre, un courriel qu'on a reçu du directeur des élections de Québec, qui dit qu'il n'y a aucun problème. Il mentionnait que la déclaration peux-tu le dire en français, Claude? La ligne, the follow-up declaration of such meeting and by whom is also in doubt. Moi, je ne comprends pas cette phrase-là. Ça suggère que ce ne serait pas nous, la société, qui est l'invitant. Ça a toujours été nous qui préparions cette rencontre, donc on lui a souligné. Et enfin, il a dit que c'était unusual que la réunion se tienne dans un restaurant, etc. Avec ça, on est tout à fait d'accord. Parce que nous, on l'aurait tenu, où est-ce que vous savez? Par contre, quand il dit que c'est inappropriate, on lui a fait remarquer que ça ne l'est pas. Parce que la seule raison qu'on est ici, c'est que la Ville nous a envoyé quantité de courriels qui nous ont forcés à prendre cette position.
So let's, can I interrupt you?
Sure.
Because je vais commencer en anglais, mais je vais aller en français, whatever. But let's not go there tonight, okay?
Okay.
I don't think we need, I think everybody knows why we're here. It didn't work out, we had to move, we had to find another location. I got invited, so
Welcome.
let's change the tone. How's that?
Excellent.
Okay, we've had a bad tone for many, many years, and I don't want to carry that tone on. So I'm here tonight because I got invited by Claude and the association to come, and he wanted my vision or my ideas for the point, for the content, for the windmill, for your heritage. Is it okay if I go in English first, then I go into French? Sure. No problem. It is important to me. Yes, it is important to me. Have I been on council before? No. Do I have a vision? Do I have plans? Do I have ideas? Yes. How can we? My goal is how can we work with not only yourselves but everybody else that has interest down on that point. We need to find a solution. There's citizens who want access to it. There's citizens who don't want us to spend any money on it. There's multiple amount of people come down and had great ideas for it, and it's gone nowhere. And it's sitting there empty, and it's going to become abandoned. It's going to become a sore point or whatever. So my goal, if I can get in as mayor, is to build up a relationship with the association and with all the players, and we sit around a table and we discuss it under respectful conversations and ideas. It's not going to be something we're going to solve fast. There is, right now there is, from what I understand, there's no money there from the city. You can't blame them for not putting money on something they don't own. The first thing we probably have to do is find an agreement, come up with a long-term lease or something where we maybe have control of it, or we have a partner where the citizens can have access to part of it. It's a big, big project, and I don't have all the answers. And for sure, what I want to do is have open dialogue, and that's why I asked you to stop and forget all that stuff. Let's move forward on a positive note. Cool. And if we can keep on a positive note, we can get some other people involved. We can get, I know for the last 2 years I've actually brought down people, different things that people had ideas. One was a seniors residence. I happen to know somebody runs brought them down there, introduced them to the church, and they did what they did, and I walked away. So there's a lot of people that come down, and I want to find a solution for it. I really want to help everybody find a solution. And I've traveled and I've been around, and I'm just in Spain this year, and I saw what they did with an old boat factory where they used to build boats for the war, and they turned it into a museum and into a community center. But you see this beautiful building being used for something else, and oh wow, what can we do with this for us? How can we make it as beautiful as that, and yet enjoy it and not only be the one paying for it? Because as taxpayers, we probably can't afford to do it. As Pointe-Claire taxpayers, we probably can't afford to do it. With our tax base right now, we have to find another solution and key partners. So I'm here tonight to just show you. I don't have a lot of answers. I can't promise you anything. I don't want to get caught in any situation where you said this and I said that. You know what? I'm here to tell you that if I can get down there and get in there, there will be open dialogue. And there'll be open dialogue not only with you, but with everybody that's involved. And we will find a solution. And it's not going to, like I said at the beginning, not going to be fast, but I believe we can do it. I understand that over the past years, there's been a lot of disrespect, and I want to bury that hatchet. Forget it. I don't want to hear about it. We're moving forward. And there's an election, and the way we're going to move forward is by choosing new people on council. And, if you like it or not, there will be new people because people are retiring and there'll be new people. So just that alone will change the dynamics of a vision and dialogue. It'll make a big difference, and to be more. I think people will be more conscious and wanting to listen. Where in the past it's been like just, oh, we've heard that before, and I don't want to hear it again. So that's where I'm coming from. You can ask me, do you want me to explain to you in French my...
Oui, en français aussi.
So là, je suis ici aujourd'hui, écoute, j'ai demandé d'arrêter son conversation négative entre la ville puis l'association. J'ai dit, je ne veux plus écouter ça, je veux bouger, je veux aller par l'avant. Je veux avoir du dialogue ouvert. Je veux impliquer tous les joueurs qui vont voir quelque chose de dit là-bas. L'association, les gros business, les partenaires, il faut qu'on trouve un partenaire pour aider nous. Je comprends qu'il y a des citoyens qui veulent avoir accès là-bas, puis il y a des autres citoyens qui ne veulent pas dépenser une sou là-bas non plus, parce qu'ils ne veulent pas dépenser de l'argent sur quelque chose qui n'est pas à nous. C'est pas à nous, puis à ce moment-là, c'est dur de dépenser de l'argent quand... So, mon première chose à faire, je pense, c'est essayer de trouver une façon d'avoir le contrôle de la place. C'est peut-être un bail pour le long terme avec des partenaires, puis peut-être pour les citoyens, on a besoin juste une partie de la bâtisse, un étage, un coin, whatever, mais il faut qu'on trouve une solution. Puis je veux être vraiment ouverte avec, comme j'ai dit, tous les joueurs, avec les citoyens, avec la ville. Il faut qu'on trouve l'argent, il faut qu'on trouve une solution, il faut qu'on trouve beaucoup de choses. Ce n'est pas un dossier facile. L'autre truc qu'on a, il y a juste deux petits roues qui vont là. Ça, c'est une autre route. Il faut qu'on respecte les citoyens sur les deux roues-là. Il faut qu'on ne peut pas changer la vie des autres non plus. So, il faut qu'il y ait beaucoup de choses que... C'est pas juste une question de... Voilà, acheter ça, puis mais c'est plus à vendre. Tu as bien compris ça, c'est plus à vendre. Cet été, au mois de... Peut-être le mois de septembre, il a changé quelqu'un à la diocèse, puis là, le monsieur, il a dit non, c'est plus à vendre, il veut le louer. Puis maintenant, c'est plus l'Église qui gère toutes les offres ou les idées qui rentrent là, ça va au diocèse, puis c'est les autres qui gèrent ça dans le moment. So, le dossier est trop gros pour l'Église. So, le diocèse est là, ils sont plus impliqués. Est-ce que ça va aller plus vite, peut-être? Les autres aussi veulent trouver une solution. Ça coûte déjà, je pense, 100 000 $ à peu près par l'année, 80 000 $ juste pour le chauffage, plus l'électricité. So, chaque année qu'il n'y a pas de sous qui rentrent là, ça coûte cher. So, je pense que les autres aussi sont intéressés de trouver une solution. Mais, comme je dis, je vais dire encore, je ne peux pas promettre rien. Je n'ai pas ici pour promettre quelque chose. Je suis ici ce soir pour dire que je veux te comprendre que j'ai ouvert à écouter, je veux parler avec vous autres, je veux être une partie de la solution. Je pense qu'on va dans la bonne élection à la ville maintenant, il va y avoir une élection, il va y avoir probablement 3 ou 4 nouveaux conseillers. Juste ça, là, ça va changer toutes les idées qui vont autour de la table. Ça va être, je pense que ça va être une dialogue plus ouverte. Puis c'est sûr que le monde il va demander probablement beaucoup plus les questions. Parce qu'ils ne sont pas là, ça va faire juste... La première fois qu'ils sont là, quand ils demandent des questions, des fois, il y a des bonnes choses qui sortent, des bonnes idées, puis des bonnes solutions. So, je pense que pour moi, puis pour tout le monde de Pointe-Claire, ça va être vraiment un bon changement.
On peut poser des questions?
Ben oui.
OK. Noah?
Yes.
Good evening, John. My name is Noah Stevens. I'd like to say 2 things, if I may.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd like to say is, well, thank you for being here. And I would like to say that democracy is candidates meeting voters, not candidates not meeting voters.
Nice.
The second thing I'd like to say is that before entering into details of what the point is going to look like, I don't want to put words in the mouth of anyone else in this room, but I suspect that I speak for more than just myself if I say, the first and foremost, we'd like to hear from someone who is offering his or her candidacy as mayor of Pointe-Claire, a firm commitment to respect our past. Because that's what has been absent from City Hall in recent years. And obviously, we, as a Société pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine de Pointe-Claire, we exist to keep that past alive. And nowhere is it more crucial than on the point because the point is the soul of Pointe-Claire, just like Mount Royal is the soul of Montreal. It gives our city its name. It carries on its land our symbol, which is the windmill, and it is, if not the oldest point in Pointe-Claire, certainly one of the oldest points. We cannot conceive it not being something to which all citizens have a connection.
Yeah.
And what we would like to hear from our future mayor, whoever he or she may be, is a firm commitment to keep our past alive, which is our mission as an association.
So I can make you a commitment that we can, I'm very, yeah, we can, the past is important to me. I like to see it kept alive, but with that comes a price tag. And I don't want to be misinterpreted that, yes, we're gonna keep the past alive, and I've said that, and now we need $100 million to do it. I don't wanna be, I understand, I mean, I'm there to support you guys, I'm there to protect the point, there's a lot of other heritage buildings, and I do respect them, but we need to, you know, we also have to think of the burden on the other taxpayers too, right? So we have to find a way. Will I work with you and we'll try to find a solution, how we can come up with the money? You guys are much more informed, and I think that Claude probably has, your association has a lot more ideas on where to find the funding and everything, but you also haven't been listened to too in the past. So can we, you know, can we get that conversation going again? You know, the biggest problem we have is not ours right now, right? It's not our point, and we need to get control of it somehow. So that's the first thing we have to do. We can sit here and talk, have all kinds of great ideas, and we want access, but we do not own it, we have no control on it. So like I said at the beginning, we need to figure out a way to get control. So like, is it a long-term lease? Is it, you know, we take a lease and we sublet out, or we find whatever, partner, whatever, but we need to lock it up that we're gonna have control. If we don't have control, what we end up doing is maybe just renting a piece from somebody that does take control of it. I would rather have control of it. I believe in destiny. You have to control your destiny, so you control that. You buy that, or you lease that, you lock it up with a lease, you know, it's in our favor. The land on the corner of where the old Esso was, in 2013, I wanted the city to buy that. I wanted them to be able to build a building there and put public washrooms and the outdoor market and the community center, but had they were talking about rejuvenating or revitalizing the village back then, they could have bought that and they had control. They didn't have any use for it, they could have sold it then. They could have bought the post office when it was up for sale, got control of it, and then they don't need it, sell it. But now we get all these key players we have to negotiate with, and we've lost the control. So my idea is get control, do what we can with what we need, and then we can deal with the rest after, and the big ones. Yes?
Actually, this isn't about the point. Being a citizen of the village for 35 years, I would ask you what your platform is on the vision of the city had for this new vision, which when we were at the meeting in February of 2016, would it be?
Yeah.
At John Rennie, and at least 400 of us showed up. And basically, we all had an input, and basically we asked the mayor at the time, are you going to be presenting us with revisions? And his answer was no, it's shut, and we're only going to talk to people that are implicated. Would this be open now? Would you see us with being able to open it up to the public, to be able to be presented what the new vision is, or what the amendment is, that there is, because he had basically closed the door on us?
So I never agreed with that process that they used for consultation. Prior to that, they went around, they met with all the merchants and key players in the village. I was the president of the Pointe-Claire Village Pool for 12 years, and we do hold events, we bring a lot of people to the village, we're part of the village, and they never contacted me. And when they came up with the plan, the consultation there, we had some people there from the pool and other people. And when they made that comment that, you know, we'll come back with the final version, well, we came back with the final version, and then the pool was no longer there, or actually the original version, when it was no longer, they didn't call me and tell me that the pool was going to be gone. I had to go and spend $35 at the town hall to pick up a copy so they could say, oh, the pool's gone, how did you feel, you know? It's ridiculous, that's not how you do it. They put a bike path on the point, they put a bike path through the schoolyard. They didn't consult any of those key players before they came up with a drawing. So to me, you have to talk to your partners first, come up with something, solidify something before you even go to the drawing board. Then they present the project, and there's a beach in front of the church, there's a pool out in the lake, the pool's gone. Like, even if they didn't see it and they forgot about it, the fact that they even had the idea or presented it to the public like that, you know it's gonna go back to the drawing board. So never mind that they didn't listen to people, it also costs us more money to go back to the drawing board. So through consultation and looking at it and other people looking at it, and if you have to go back 2-3 times, you go back 2-3 times until you get something that's much more acceptable than what was there. And I don't think that, you know, I mean, you're never gonna make everybody happy. There's always gonna be somebody, you know, 50% gonna like it, 50% aren't gonna like it. But at some point you have to say, okay, we've been back 3-4 times, now we're nitpicking, but this is, you know, come up with the best. They didn't do it with Valwell. Valwell had the same problem. They came up with a plan in Valwell, they moved all the parking lot over, they cut out 100 parking spots, and there's nothing what the people asked for prior to the consultation. Now the brainstorming meetings that they had, the round table talk, it was nothing what the people asked for.
So are you saying you will relook at the
I will relook, I will listen to people now, and not only me, we'll have people do it. I mean, we'll have groups of people doing that. And these are big projects. I mean, they're talking about this project, and it's 15 years. It's a 15-year plan, 2030. Where's the money coming from? They didn't talk about that. And there's been people evaluated between $70 to $100 million. Well, that's great, but where's it coming from? And we've been hearing about this. I've been here in the village for 25 years, and we've heard many studies and many this. Nothing's ever gotten done. And today there was a comment on TV saying, yeah, well, everything's in the works. We started Cartier Boulevard, and that's the beginning. Beginning of what? You're coming down Cartier. What, you know, like where's the money for next year? It's not in the budget. There's no money in the budget for next year to do any more work in the village. So the Cartier thing had to be done. Great initiative. They did it, but that was I'll call it smoke and mirrors. You know, they're using that as a revitalization of the village. Really? Okay, well, I think there's a lot more. I think they could have done Lakeshore Road. They could have done a lot of other stuff before they did Cartier, which I'm not taking anything away from anybody that lives on Cartier because you need it done. But you're spending $5 million there, and I don't see how that's going to bring a lot more people to the village. I can't get in my car and decide I'm going to drive down Cartier because it's so beautiful now to go to the village. I don't see it. I don't see it. But they're using that as the investment in the village. Sorry, this gentleman.
I'm from Dorval,
Yeah.
and the Historical Society there is part of the activities of the city, so they're backed by the city. The museum that's there was from the stables of the Forest Street.
Right.
And part of the stables of the they made a museum. They have volunteers that go and work there, so they don't pay anybody, but it's open to the public with volunteers that are there that are taking signatures, and you can visit the place. If we look at the situation here in Pointe-Claire, they don't want to sell the building. They need some money because of the heating bill and the electricity there. You don't want to put, the city doesn't want to put money because it's not a public thing. It's a private thing. But if you convert it into, we'll say, the first floor like a museum, upstairs I guess there's rooms that you can convert into offices. One could be an office for this historical society, other associations and perhaps that are needed of an office. Then you can pay the rent, which would pay for the heating system. Maybe you can bypass it that way. It's my suggestion, and if it's feasible and it may be one of the solutions, by all means you can have it.
Yeah, and like I said, we need to find a partner maybe, and we only need one part of the building. There's 4 wings, maybe we only need one. You know, maybe we could you could open up the basements and put lockers, and all those guys that do kiting and stuff could have changing rooms and so on and so forth, and rent them space, and maybe you could put docks along the front of it and have people coming in. I don't know, you know, there's lots of ideas, but right now we need, our first situation is to get control of it.
Because finally, I have contacts with Group Voyage Quebec. They make one-day tours. Yeah. And they would come here if you have a museum. Obviously, the mill is in perfect condition. Claude used to have the key, but that can come back. And, you know, if you bring a bus here, that means you have to have a restaurant here that can take 50 people, and people will come here, and they'll bring money to this city. This Group Voyage Quebec was enough to bring your tourism in Pointe-Claire.
Okay. I know Susan Weaver had a question too, then Claude, is that okay?
Well, I'd like to go first, excuse me, Susan, but there was a very important question in English about the SPP, and I'd like you to, je vais te poser la question en français.
Okay.
Est-ce que vous allez travailler sur le PPU?
Oui, je vais travailler sur le PPU parce que moi, je trouve que c'est pas qu'est-ce que nous avons besoin de moment, c'est pas qu'est-ce qu'on veut. Les autres, il a fait un plan, il a présenté le PPU au John Rennie, il a fait une couple de changements. Après ça, comme je dis, il n'y a pas eu une consultation après. Puis le nouveau plan, je pense pas que c'est un grand, il n'y a pas beaucoup de changements. Puis la chose que moi, je n'aime pas le moment, c'est le montant de l'argent que ça va coûter pour faire qu'est-ce qu'il veut. C'est entre 70 millions à 100 millions de dollars, puis il y a beaucoup d'argent dépensé dans le parc Bourgeot, puis il va déménager le curling, puis il va déménager le bowling, puis je comprends qu'il y a une vision, mais je pense pas que c'est la vision que nous autres veut. Puis je ne sais pas si la vision-là, ça vient de où. Il a engagé une compagnie, puis la compagnie, ils sont payés pour trouver des solutions, puis là, il y a assis en avant un ordinateur, puis ce papier, ça a l'air beau.
En français, on appelle ça des poussins de crayon.
OK.
C'est quoi
moi, j'ai plein j'ai des bonnes choses en dedans, c'est sûr. Mais comme j'ai dit, c'est un plan de 15 ans. Il n'y a pas de l'argent là pour l'année prochaine. On va commencer où? Il n'y a rien. C'est juste un autre plan. C'est une autre. Ça fait 25 ans que j'ai ici. Il n'y a rien qui a changé dans 25 ans. Probablement, il n'y a rien qui va changer dans 15 ans. Il y a des commerçants ici qui disent, ça vaut pas la peine d'attendre pour le nouveau plan. On va vendre le business maintenant parce que il va être 62 ans quand le nouveau plan va être impliqué, puis ça va être trop tard. So, is that okay, Claude? Okay, now Susan.
Okay, I'm not from the village, but I live north of the 20, and when you're talking about the budget and you're talking about taxpayers, there's so many people north of 20. We know about Pointe-Claire Village, but they're just not aware what's going on. They didn't go to John Rennie, and he said there are 400, but there's 33,000, I think it's 25,000 voters here. And
28,000.
I don't know how many votes, but it's just that it's budget, taxation, and if nobody's aware, there's a lot of people that are just not aware that these things are needed.
I'll give you a great example. It's maybe a little bit off topic, but the REM, the Réseau Electric Metropolitan, is coming to the West Island electric train. Okay, so that's big. That's huge. We're going to change West Island. We're going to change Pointe-Claire. We've got 2 stations coming to Pointe-Claire. It's a $6 billion project. It's going to help the industrial park. Even that could help getting people down here because people will be able to come from far to get to Fairview and they can get down here. So we get a shuttle buses or whatever. But we're the only municipality that hasn't consulted our citizens. I went to Kirkland and they had a consultation meeting for citizens. They had 2 rooms, 600 people, 2 nights in a row. And they consulted their citizens, the citizens had input, they made some changes, but we're still the only municipality that not had a consultation. Durfee, St. Anne's, and Kirkland have all done it. And we're not even talking about it. And it's huge. We're the biggest, we're going to be the biggest beneficiary of the 2 stations and with Fairview and everything else.
Right.
So it's all about, Susan, your point about communications. Like we don't communicate what we got. And not only that, we got a lot of good things in Pointe-Claire. We do a lot of great things. And we do things down in the village, we do things in Valawang, we do things in Terracotta, but we don't communicate it for some reason.
Yeah, somehow the sports center is very well communicated.
Well, you know what?
It's great, it's great, but
It's
you know,
not,
because people just don't know
Yeah,
about
but
it.
there is no newspaper.
Okay, let's get back on topic again about
So,
There's no more newspaper.
So,
I mean,
Claude?
Ok, John?
Oui.
Bon, pour ton information, tu n'as pas pu être à notre meeting auparavant parce qu'on a discuté grandement, c'était la majeure partie de notre soirée, sur l'avenir de la Pointe. Donc, nous, comme société, on a fait un mémoire de 56 pages et ainsi de suite sur le TPU pour le village de Pointe-Claire. Bon, la ville de Pointe-Claire n'en a pas tenu compte. Donc, et là, ce qui est encourageant, c'est que tu veux une vision de travailler en partenariat respectueusement des associations, des citoyens, et ainsi de suite. Donc ça, c'est encourageant. Donc, pour ton information, nous, comme société, on a fait beaucoup de démarches pour la Pointe. On a fait un plan de réutilisation qu'on a soumis au diocèse de Montréal. Et la première lecture qu'ils en ont faite, c'était très, très bien fait et tout. Ils ont été impressionnés. Donc, on va rencontrer le diocèse à un moment donné et ainsi de suite. Donc, nous, on a fait des propositions qui se tiennent. Donc, vraiment constructives et tout, avec des revenus d'un certain niveau, avec muséal, restauration du moulin au complet pour qu'ils puissent chanter, faire de la farine et ainsi de suite. Des salles de réception communautaires, pour la cuisine communautaire, différentes possibilités et, entre autres, une aide entièrement consacrée au centre communautaire Noël Legault, parce que la ville avait l'intention auparavant, je ne sais plus si c'est encore comme ça, de le déménager à côté de l'aréna et ainsi de suite. Et celui-ci, le centre Noël Legault, est classé maintenant commercial dans l'éventualité de le vendre et avoir commercial. Donc, nous, on a fait des propositions et le diocèse nous considère comme un partenaire incontournable. C'est les mots du diocèse de Montréal. Donc, la proposition, c'est qu'on faisait une proposition et après ça, on allait rencontrer le diocèse et après, avoir une table de concertation pour l'avenir de la Pointe où est-ce qu'il y aurait le diocèse, la fabrique, la ville de Pointe-Claire et notre société. Toi, si tu es élu, es-tu prêt à t'asseoir à une table avec notre société, le diocèse et la fabrique pour regarder pour l'avenir de la Pointe avec comme éventualité de transporter le centre communautaire là, dans une des ailes du monde.
Moi, j'ai prêt pour assis autour de la table-là, mais il va y avoir d'autres personnes autour de la table-là. Il va y avoir d'autres joueurs aussi. Là. C'est pas juste vous autres, l'association, puis je pense qu'on peut apporter d'autres mondes avec d'autres expériences pour impliquer aussi.
Okay.
Je pense que la table, il faut que c'est plus grand, parce que c'est un grand projet, il faut qu'il y ait une grande table.
Okay. Ma question, c'est, est-ce que tu es prêt à t'asseoir avec 3 partenaires à la table? Parce que le diocèse, c'est ça qu'il veut.
Oui.
Et
Écoute,
pas
moi,
avec un 5e ou un 6e ou un 7e.
J'ai déjà parlé avec Père Lalande, puis j'ai passé le mot au mois de septembre, octobre. Si je peux rentrer là, mon première chose, ça va être assis avec les autres. So, j'ai prêt à assis avec no problem. Pas trop. Pas trop.
Ron?
John, I'm glad to hear you mention that vacant lot across the street as having a lot of potential. Since a few years, a number of people have been proposing that that vacant lot become a kind of a public square with maybe a bandstand or a kiosque à musique in the center and perhaps market-type buildings around 2 sides. Are you favorable to that idea?
I'm very favorable to that. My only concern was in 2013 was for sale, we should have bought it. The city should have bought it. Now somebody, a contractor bought it, developers bought it. So now we have to go back to the developer, and
Pay more.
and maybe pay more, but I guess my point was the lack of vision. If the city really had a plan to revitalize the village and do all this, you don't usually lose on land, so we could have bought it, held on to
It would have
it,
been a great opportunity.
and then if we didn't need it, got rid of it. But yes, I'd be interested to, I know there's a project on the table now for that piece of land. Although, I don't know if it's on the table, but the contractor did call me when I put my name in or whatever, he wanted to ask me something, but it was, he had a plan for it, but it's gone nowhere. So I don't know if he's holding back,
Right now, there's zoning is 2 stories, I think.
I think what he was allowed to go, and maybe Logan has, there was 2 or 3, I think he's allowed 3 stories there now, right? 1 story commercial, 2 stories residential. Well, that's what he told me when he called me, I don't know, that's what I heard.
And the bandstand the gentleman's talking about, in Dorval, we have one. Every Monday night in the summer, there's someone doing some recital or whatever. It's interesting, but also, they found someone to subsidize the bandstand. In other words, they found a sponsor, which Pointe-Claire could have, so they wouldn't even have to pay to.
So that's, you're talking about sponsors, we weren't allowed to get sponsors in Pointe-Claire before. We weren't allowed to, have a sign up from IGA at our pool, let's say, or at the arena. We weren't allowed sponsorships. But we're gonna change that, because there's people out there that, Hydro-Quebec and these big companies, they're guys who sponsor stuff now. And if we have the money coming into us, that's a whole other, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I think it was Pierre Trudeau who said, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. Right now, if you go online and you see the urban plan, there's a a plan for a massive new civic center in the area between Douglas Shand and Drake, where you would essentially raise the entire forested area, move Noel Legault and the curling center there, expand the aquatic center, and this whole thing is financed in part by building high-rise condos in the parking lot of the arena and the parking lot of the library. So, from a cost standpoint, it seems to me that the cost of just doing all of that versus getting some kind of emphyteutic lease for a portion of the former convent and using that to have more community center space may even be financially more reasonable than what's already on the table now. So that's...
I'm not, that city center it's a huge plan, right? Huge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm not big, I don't favor condos everywhere in Pointe-Claire. I'm not a big condo guy. I used to sell real estate for 10 years. And the first thing, when the market goes down, condos take the biggest hit and people get stuck in and they can't build up any equity to move on to buy a house because they don't go up in value and so on and so forth. And I don't think that's what Pointe-Claire is ever about. We're about houses and yards and townhouses or whatever, and this condo thing, I mean, it's a different quality of life, a different, it wasn't for me. I don't think it's really attractive driving down Hymas. I would have rather seen a one-story industrial or commercial building than seeing a 5-story condo there. But it's not that I don't favor it. I don't know where that's all going to end up. That big plan, I don't know. I mean, it's a plan again. It's a plan like this plan here for this 15-year plan, and that plan could be, God forbid, it was how long? Because you got to wipe out a whole neighborhood to do it, because all the car dealerships, everybody's gone in that plan. So it's, I think that will come up for discussion again before that ever starts. Okay, anybody else? No question?
Alors, s'il n'y a pas d'autres questions, on va lever l'Assemblée.
Donc, je pense que on apprécie beaucoup ta venue, John. Je pense que tu peux rester un petit peu après. Donc, si vous avez des questions à poser à John, et je ferai remarquer dans la salle, il y a quelques membres de notre société ici qui se présentent dans d'autres quartiers. Et ce qui serait important pour chacun des membres de la société, c'est d'aller interpeller vos candidats dans vos quartiers pour leur demander leur point de vue sur le patrimoine et tout. Parce que même s'ils sont ailleurs, ils doivent prendre des décisions à un moment donné qui vont être très importantes pour le futur de Pointe-Claire. Et pas oublier que M. Aldo Yermiri vous a invité par notre lecture de sa lettre de lui poser des questions et tout, soit par téléphone ou par courriel, et il va se faire un plaisir de répondre à vos questions et tout. Est-ce que dans la salle, les personnes qui se présentent comme conseillers ailleurs pourraient se lever et se présenter et dire dans quel quartier ils sont? OK, il y a Claude.
Déjà tout. Je suis dans le district.
Ah, plus?
Cedar Park?
Cedar
de Place.
OK, donc, gênez-vous pas pour aller poser des questions, discuter avec eux. Et
Bonjour, Andrew Skudzinski, je me présente pour être conseiller dans le district 4, Cedar Park Heights, qui va de la 20 au sud jusqu'à la rue Seigneurie au nord. Je suis très content d'être membre de l'association ici. Avant de faire mes études en droit pour être notaire, j'ai également fait un bac et une maîtrise en histoire à l'Université McGill. Donc, c'est une préoccupation qui me tient beaucoup à cœur.
Membres ici. Donc, c'est bon, tout le monde est bien content. Donc, gênez-vous pas pour discuter de patrimoine avec nos invités. Merci bien pour tout. Merci.
Bonne chance.